Welcome to my second video. It's New Year's Day and I'm flying the Parrot disco drone. I'm quite lucky here to find a good park, good scenery, and not many people around either. So second flight, some things I've noticed with the Parrot disco: trimming and calibrating the disco before you fly is hugely important. As you can see, when we get it onto relatively what we think is straight, the horizon here is just slightly off. It was a perfectly still day, so it's certainly not a crosswind. Although I calibrated and I did the trim on the ground, it was clear that the trim probably needs to be exactly straight on the horizon, not just necessarily left on the ground as it lays, because it's clearly off here as well, slightly, but hopefully doesn't affect the picture too much. Another thing I noticed as well on the disco is the resolution. Both days I've flown now haven't been the brightest. I mean, it is the middle of winter, but today was particularly overcast. And as you can see, the camera is struggling a little bit with some noise and feedback. It's not as clear as it possibly could be. I think it's just purely down to how dark the day was when flying. This is around 9 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of January. So I'm piloting the drone from the field to the left of screen right now, but as you saw ahead, the River Crouch looks mightily tempting to cross. I'm hoping I can get close enough to make the 500 metres legal requirement for drone flying. Obviously you have to fly drones within visual sight, so I'm hoping I can make it there and back. So here I am, flying relatively low. I don't mean to. I'm actually trying to land a Parrot disco. It's flying a lot quicker than it did on the first flight, probably because there's no headwinds coming in towards it, slowing it down. It just looked far too fast to land. It was going approximately about 9 meters a second at that point. However, I had to land it, so here you'll see a bit of a bumpy landing. Not the best effort. I think it didn't help from the ridges in the park. So here you can see, if you look, just before finishing or landing, pressing the landing button, it's travelling probably around 10 meters a second, 11 meters a second, something like that. Because I wasn't happy with the first landing, I thought I'd attempt a second. It's not so bumpy, but again, it's really difficult scrubbing speed off the Parrot. So I don't know if this is a normal kind of speed. All those fellow disco Parrot owners appreciate your view as well. As you can see, so just before pressing the landing button again, going about 8 meters a second, a little bit slower, but I was certainly pulling the speed lever down as quickly or as much as I possibly could before it landed. So just to compare, this is the first flight with a very strong headwind. You can see how slowly the disco was flying into the wind. Here it is. Beginner's luck, I think. Almost dropped at my feet. In fact, I had to move out of the way slightly. Again, such a soft landing. You can see there on the right, the Parrot's probably flying no quicker than 5 meters a second. So if there are any other Parrot disco owners out there who have landed many times before, maybe you could leave a comment or let me know what your experience of the Parrot disco is in terms of landing. Just seems very quick to me, but it may be perfectly normal. Okay, see you next time.